I call to order the Etna Township Board of Trustees regular meeting here on Tuesday, August 20th, 2024 at 6 p.m. Roll call, please.
Mr. Evans?
Here.
Mr. Burkholder?
Here.
Ms. McKee? Here.
Ms. McKee, would you please lead us in the invocation?
Yes, please. Please stand and bow your heads with me. Dear Heavenly Father, we thank you again for this day that you have made. We appreciate you giving us the opportunity to come together as a community, as a board, and let us continue with the business of the township in a good way, in a good manner that glorifies you. And we ask you to bless all the military and their families, keep them safe as they out to try to protect us in these United States of America. And I thank you for this. In Jesus' name I pray. Amen.
Amen. Please join me in the pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. Is there a motion to adopt the agenda?
So moved.
Is there a second?
I'll second.
Discussion? Hearing none, roll call, please.
Mr. Evans?
Yes.
Mr. Burkholder?
Yes.
Ms. McKee?
Yes.
Agenda is adopted as presented. Is there a motion to adopt the minutes from the June 12th, 2024 regular meeting?
I'll move.
Is there a second? I'll second. Discussion or corrections?
Do you guys have any corrections?
I don't. Do you, Mr. Evans?
Yes, there are corrections needed. If you want, I don't know if you want me to go through them or
Have those been forwarded to the
they have not.
administrative assistant?
It's referred to as regular meeting. It's a special meeting. And the prior correction requested on the public hearing, it's still confusing. There was no change to it sent to public. So that should have been corrected and it wasn't. And I can forward that, but I really think the full board needs to be reviewing these.
We have. I reviewed them.
I move to amend the minutes with the added corrections. Is there a second?
I'll second for discussion, but which one in particular is he wanting to?
This is June 12th, correct?
Okay, the June 12th only.
Special meeting?
Is that just the only one, Mr. Evans?
Well, it was referred to as regular meeting. It's a special meeting.
We will
In the paragraph sent to public, it does make sense. With the information.
Yes, it
And
does
then-
say 612 underneath. It's misprinted in the title, but the attachment does say special meeting. That's correct.
And I had also the correction in there about the process, how it wasn't properly followed. I think that should be in there. It's the same corrections I asked last time.
So we'll roll call on the amendment to make those corrections.
Mr.
Sure.
Evans?
No, because don't we have to have them corrected, then pass them? Because these were the corrected ones before and they weren't corrected. So I would
Well,
say
you voted no. I vote yes.
Ms. McKee?
I vote yes.
Okay, the minutes will be corrected. So now on the main motion, as far as discussion, the motion will be to approve those as corrected. Is there a second? To approve those as corrected so that we can get them approved tonight. If they are approved, then they will be corrected and they will be reposted as corrected minutes. Hearing none, then the motion fails, so those minutes will not be approved. But the corrections will be forwarded to the administrative assistant. My recommendation is if you have a lot of corrections, Mr. Evans, that you forward those ahead of time so that the administrative assistant can go ahead and correct those. Is there a motion to approve the regular June 18th, 2024 minutes?
So moved.
Is there a second? Hearing none, the motion fails. Is there a motion to approve the special July 22nd, 2024 minutes?
I'll move for discussion.
Is there a second? Hearing none, those fail too as well for adoption. How about the special, I'll make a motion to approve the July 24, 2024 special minutes. Is there a second?
Now second for discussion.
Okay, discussion.
Do you have any corrections?
I do not, Mr. Evans, do you?
Yes, several.
Have those been forwarded to the administrative
No, they
assistant?
have. No, they have
Okay.
not. But again, it
Let the
refers
record,
to-
now hold on, this is discussion. Let the record show that those were not forwarded prior to the meeting to the administrative assistant. Go
Okay.
ahead, Mr. Evans.
And let the record show that I was the only trustee that reviewed any of these minutes.
That's not necessarily correct, so.
But again, the motion's into executive session. It doesn't state the specific reason it needs to. Again, it refers to a regular meeting. It was a special meeting. And
You're talking about this July 2024?
correct.
Okay. It says special. It says special there, both places.
Well, I've got conducting a regular meeting on my draft that I was forwarded.
Okay. Anything else?
The executive session does not indicate the reason for the motion. It has to specify the ORC and the specific for employment of public employees. It does not
It
state
did
that.
say that there in the draft Ohio Revised Code 121.22 G1.
No, you can't list the laundry list of items. It has to. If you look at the auditor's manual, it has to be specific.
No, it doesn't, Mr. Evans. I'm sorry, it does not.
Anything else, Mr. Evans?
On that one, no.
Roll call as presented with the corrections.
Mr. Evans?
No, because we have to approve them after corrected.
Mr. Evans, I've been to a lot of meetings, and once the corrections are noted, then they can be moved to be adopted with the corrections as noted, and that helps move the process along. So I respectfully disagree with that, but it's up to the board. I vote yes. Is there?
Mr. Burkholder?
Yes.
Ms. McKee?
Yes.
Adopted as corrected, and Mr. Evans, please forward those corrections to the administrative assistant. We're going to do our best to try to get all these minutes adopted. We've had great challenges with staffing, and we do want to get these corrected and have them correct, but we also want to try to get these adopted so that we can catch up. Because it's really difficult when we have a meeting and so many items are put on the agenda, and then we're still working with the previous minutes. So I appreciate the scrutiny as far as getting them correct, but let's get them adopted as corrected. So is there a motion to approve the special July 25th, 2024 special meeting?
So moved.
I'll second. Any corrections, Mr. Evans?
Yes, again, providing proper oversight and review of this. It refers to the special, refers to regular meeting. It's a special meeting. Again, the executive session ORC does not indicate the exact reason for that, which is, again, improper if you look at the auditor's book. And again, for the record, I'd like to know why the other two trustees just are not reviewing any minutes.
That's not true, Mr. Evans. I'm reviewing them, but it's just that you and I don't agree on the executive session. This has always been this, we've been through this before under the previous board, and we made it clear. We can make the corrections, but we can continue to move, like Mr. Burkholder said, move on down so we can get to the next step and not hold up everything, because all we're doing is falling behind.
Yes, Mr. Evans, and let's face it, when 3 different people review the minutes, all of us may not find the same errors. So I appreciate your attention to detail. Is there anything else you have on this special July 25th, 2024 special meeting minutes?
No, those are all the errors I found after a thorough review.
Okay. Then the motion, we have a motion on the floor, and so the roll call will be to approve those as corrected.
Mr. Evans?
No.
Mr. Burkholder?
Yes.
Ms. McKee?
Yes.
And please forward those, Mr. Evans, for the record, please forward those to the administrative assistant. We will work diligently to get those minutes corrected and then get them posted. Is there a motion to approve the special August 12, 2024?
So moved.
I'll second that. Discussion, corrections?
Oh yeah, again, several. Executive session, the motion topic, I think there was another, it might have been the one we passed, but there was a lapse in the timing where it looked like there was a vote to approve the AHS resolution, but it wasn't, so it's not this one. But again, I find it very concerning that I'm the only one reviewing these, and that we're not waiting till they are actually corrected, because the June 12th or June 18th ones were previously submitted with corrections, and there were still errors. So I'm afraid that it's going to happen again.
Were those corrections made?
No,
Were any of them made?
there were still several
Okay.
errors.
And did you, in advance, as a trustee, work with the administrative assistant to make her aware of those so that those could be corrected prior to this meeting?
I just reviewed those today
Oh, just today, okay.
on that one.
Okay.
When did you review these?
I already
Never.
looked at them. Well, once again, be careful with the accusations you make, Mr. Evans. And I will say this, I do agree that you are to put you can recite the Ohio Revised Code when it comes to executive session, which has many different things in there. But we should, and I believe it is required to say specifically why we're going in there. For example, consider employment, disciplinary action. So you don't recite the whole thing, you give the specific reasons. But that's something new, obviously. May have been around, but we have a new administrative assistant, Mr. Evans. So it's consistent what we need to correct there. So we will look at those and get those corrected.
But this is what I've been going on, the lack of proper oversight.
We know the recurring thing. So I'll take a roll call to approve those minutes as corrected.
Mr. Evans?
No.
Mr. Burkholder?
Yes,
Ms. McKee?
Yes.
and we will work with our administrative assistant and the fiscal officer to get those corrected. And hopefully now, we've got a couple here that we'll note that we'll have to come back, make those corrections, and bring those back for approval. But I know firsthand that our administrative assistant is working diligently to get these minutes caught up. But when we have 3-hour meetings, there's an awful lot of typing and work to be done in addition to the other daily duties to keep the operation going here at the township. Public comments, a limit of 3 minutes per person. We ask that you come to the podium and speak into the microphone. Please state your name and address, and please address your comments to the board. Is there anyone at this time that would like to come forward?
Thea Young, 9167 Taylor. I just have a couple of some information that the city of Reynoldsburg has put out some talking points for their intended tax levy, which is 8.7 for November, and I wanted to give a copy of those to the board.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
Thanks very much. Thank you, ma'am.
Is there anyone else at this time? Come forward, please.
Oh, I'm sorry, I got one. I
Oh, you got another
one
one?
for you,
Oh,
Jackie.
okay.
I'm sorry, honey. Did you put it on me?
Thank you.
I'm sorry.
I don't
Hi,
have any
Mayor.
copies
How are you,
because I
sir?
can't count.
Thank you, I'm doing well, thanks.
Oh, yeah.
Thank you, sir.
I'm giving you that copy. Give this to you.
Thank you, sir.
You can read it. And then, these I'd like you to pass around because I called you on these before.
Okay.
All right?
Please,
So I'll give you a chance
please come to the microphone, state your name.
Oh, away from me. Name's Joe Wagner. Been a resident here over 40 years. I have a local business here over 30 years. So let me know when you guys are done.
Your address?
Oh, Beechwood Drive, Reynoldsburg. What is that now? Now, I'm letting you guys know what's basically on there. On the bottom, it says it's been recognized by law enforcement. The public needs to know this. That large unsecured items of sodium hypochlorite, you know it is bleach, but it's higher, it's 12.5%, can create terrorist weapon by mixing with other counter products, utilizing it as a chemical weapon, and a gas to introduce a wide area of sickness, death, and fear, similar to gas warfare used in World War I. This town down. Gary, I called you on this a good month and a half, 2 months ago. You never got back to me. I don't know why.
Well, I don't know where you left the message.
I left it on your machine. I
Wow.
had somebody sitting with me. I left it on you, and phone records don't lie. I called you.
Okay.
All right? Now, that's a simple fact. I don't want to debate that, but you never got back to me.
Well, I've checked my voicemail, but go ahead. You've got about 2.5 minutes remaining.
Well, I know you want to get rid of me because you don't want to hear
No,
it.
no, go ahead. You have your full 3 minutes.
I will. Now, with that being said, why is that not addressed? You know, you got a guy working here that's doing a damn good job. And by the way, did anybody get a bid for $80 an hour zoning guy? that doesn't live in this town?
Sir, please address the board.
I'm going to address everybody.
You address the board. We're going to have order here tonight. You're addressing the Board of Trustees.
All right, well, with the Board of Trustees, the public needs to know as I'm
They can
addressing
hear
the
you.
board.
We're on the
Jeez.
microphone system.
Okay. Gary, you're the only one raising your voice. They need to know. And why is somebody being hired out of the town controlling the town? I'm pretty sure there's more than qualified people that somebody knows. You didn't put it up for bid. Why not? You know, you could vote on things. Why didn't you? What's your connection with these people? Supposedly, anonymous sources tell me that you have meetings with this person that has this sodium hypo sitting out there. Also, the zoning guy from, where is he? Delaware or somewhere. He also has meetings with this guy. Yet nothing's done on that, and it's a hazard to this community. And they have a right to know whether you want them to know or not. Now, I tried to do this right. Respectfully, I called you. You got a guy out there doing his job the best that he can, and he gets stepped on all the time. And I am talking about Littella. He's been out here a long, long time, and he's getting squashed every which way. Why? That's your job. I don't know why, but that's the rumor from many different people. You have issues. You have had issues in Pickerington. You have had issues at Cumberland. I mean, Brand School shut you down because you didn't follow the law.
You have 30 seconds.
Fine. You don't want to hear it. You also had issues at the water board when you're there. You don't play well with others. And here's an example. You're trying to shut me off. This board needs to know. Yes, you are. This board's trying to eat it up. You're busy looking at the clock and not listening to the words. That's what you got up here. So you don't have to tell me the time's up. Maybe your time should. I should run against you. Have a good day. This needs to be addressed. By the way, you're all I noticed. You got the FBI warning. Show it to the rest of them. The FBI comes into places like me with hazardous material and asks us to report it. Don't you have due diligence? You got the warning sign right there. Show it to these people. Let them see it. God forbid there's an accident. Children die. People get sick. You guys possibly could be held responsible. That's just
Mr. Wagner, I do appreciate the information you've provided, but just before, let's correct the record
Go ahead.
that the current temporary zoning inspector, until we hire a full-time zoning inspector and code enforcement officer, also met with the individual that you're talking about here. And yes, the consultant, who is a planning consultant, was there, and so was the zoning inspector, and they talked about a variety. I wasn't actually in that meeting, but I was in the hall, and I believe they talked about the possibility of outside storage, which the township is currently looking into relative to our zoning code. But any kind of hazardous material, we do appreciate you bringing that to the board's attention.
You haven't done anything over for, I know you've not been here that long. This has been going on for years. I called you over a month ago.
Okay.
So I don't want to hear you passing it off on other people.
Well, no, I'm just telling you the facts.
I'm telling you the facts.
Okay, then let's set the record. Did you bring it to the previous board as well, to their attention?
No, I did not.
Okay.
But I brought it to your attention. I left it on your phone.
Well,
You know what, Gary? Next meeting, I'm going to come in with the phone log. Okay? I'll
you've
do
had
that
your
for
time,
you.
sir.
I will do.
You've had your time. Who's next, please?
Watch out for this guy.
Good evening. My name is Nick Weigel. I am a United States Marine veteran, disabled veteran. I've been living here for 10 years, coming up next June. I've been raising my family. I have a wife and 4 children.
What's your address, sir? I didn't get it.
It's 12045 Refugee Road, Southwest, Etna, Ohio. I've been impacted by the widening of the road, and my family has been suffering through this ever since it started. It started with the trash trucks not coming to pick up our trash for a month and a half, and going after them significantly. The constant parade of us having to get people out of my driveway was ridiculous. And then to top it off, everywhere we went would take an extra 15 minutes. So it was just putting time on our already burdened schedule. I'm here tonight because I have a 2024 diesel truck, and my tire blew because of your guys' crew that you had out there. This happened on May 31st, and I instantly contacted Mark Evans. And he's been very helpful throughout this entire process, making sure that things were going and trying to get stuff done, but I can clearly see that he struggles. I myself have attempted to contact you many times, Gary, with a lack of follow through, I will say. This is a very small matter. It's $511.41. Typically I wouldn't waste my time over something like this, but with the economy the way it is, groceries for my family cost that much a week. So they're taking money out of my family's pockets and out of their mouths. And so I have a big problem with that. I'm asking you guys to pay this bill, get it off the table, so that way I can take care of my family and move on. It should have happened a long time ago. I think you should have taken care of this immediately when you first found out. The township should have paid, and then you guys hold a lot more leverage than I do as an individual. So that's my recommendation for you. Please pay this. I don't want to take it any further. I am willing to go to the news stations as well as to an attorney if I have to hire one, but I don't want it to go that far. So thank you for your time.
Thank you.
Oh, for the record, I also want to say, Mark's been very good at discussing everything and keeping up with everything. I found it quite disturbing, the news article that I saw come out of the last meeting here. So I hope you guys can fix all this problem that you guys are having internally.
Thank you. I would like to advise you that, of course, you and I have had several conversations as well. I don't think you were at the meeting, but I did report that I've gone to the updates on Refugee Road. I brought it up the first time. They said they were going to forward it to their safety director. Obviously, nothing happened. You and I talked again. I went back in a second time for an update meeting. They had some information. They gave me some information which I don't believe was correct regarding a denial, that they turned it into Travelers Insurance and that there was a denial. You never got copies of that, correct?
I never got copies of anything,
Okay.
and like I said, it shouldn't take this long for something to happen. I think you guys should have stepped in and taken care of this a long time ago, and I know Mark would have done that.
Well, we have to check with our insurance carrier to see if we're liable. That did go through the TID and the contractor. I did contact you then again, and you were out of town at the time, and we had talked about that. I don't know where they got the information, and I've left a message for, I believe his first name is Jared again, and have not heard back from him. So, and I understand Mr. Evans made quite a few efforts as well. He's called the director of the Transportation Improvement District, We do have your photographs. I see where it is a slashed tire. One of the things they said, they're not sure what slashed it.
I know exactly what it did. It was right around the roundabout when the gravel was in the road. Again, I didn't like to go right because it would take, I didn't want to risk anything happening to my
Right.
brand new truck. So I would always go left out of my driveway and take the new paved road that they just finished.
Right.
Unfortunately, this night I was running out of time. My son had to be at travel baseball, so I had to get him to his game. I had to go that way to stop and get fuel, which is the reason why it all happened. Otherwise, it would have never have happened. So
Right.
again, this is an issue that you guys should be taking care of. And I don't know why it wasn't addressed and done months ago and why I'm having to waste my time tonight to be here.
Because when there's a claim, that the party that's responsible for that claim being the contractor. So we can check with our legal counsel to see if we have the authority on that. But I'd like to follow back up, or either, any of the trustees can follow up with the TID, and then with Miller Brothers, I think would be the one that's responsible. And then there's also CTL, which is the engineering firm. So.
Yeah, I mean, it's a simple check cut from Etna Township to take care of their residents. That's what should have happened long ago. I still think it could happen, today if you took care of business. And then it should be you guys fighting them for this money because they are the ones that did it, and it's your guys' job.
Yep.
So I don't understand again why I had to come and waste my time. My kids, I just was supposed to pick them up from football practice, but here I am. I had to get somebody else to do it.
Thank you for your comments.
Just a quick reply on that. I think one of the issues is, again, not getting back to people, because that was Mr. Weigel's issue. He had sent you some texts and that there was no reply. But as far as checking with legal, why hasn't that been done already? Why this has been going on since May? We're 2 full months past this, and it's not being addressed. And Mr. Burkholder, you're the contact with TID. I tried to reach out, but then they're going through you. It's just stymied. So we need to start addressing these issues.
Well, just so we're correct, Mr. Evans, I've been in touch with the gentleman on numerous occasions, and we will have to continue to fight, but now I guess we're going to have to. But as you well know, Mr. Evans, we can't check with the prosecutor anymore unless we have minutes or a resolution or a vote by this board because of the conflict that you've had with other trustees. It's documented by the prosecutor. They just sent us another list that from now on, because they don't mediate disputes between trustees, they represent the entire board. It just got sent out by the assistant prosecutor, Amy Gill, and so now that's what slows down the process. It takes a vote by this board, and they either have to have a resolution or they have to have the minutes, and I just read that today.
And that was a week ago, and this has been going on over 2 months.
Yeah, it has. And did you have any success with getting it resolved?
You are the contact with the
Oh,
prosecutor.
no.
You are the contact with TID.
you-
I attempted to,
Okay.
Mr. Burkholder.
That's fine.
Again, you're not even responding to the text.
The last one I sent out, I didn't get a response either, and it's this multiple times, and I've called you multiple times.
And I called you when you were in Florida and you said you were going to come back. And I don't have any updates.
You don't? I have a text I can show you right now. That
No,
you
I'm
didn't
not.
respond to.
I'm not saying that.
Okay.
I'm saying as far as from the contractor.
Is there a way
Mr.
for you to vote and just to pay this and be done with it? Is that possible?
Well, I think the board will have to consider that.
I would love that. I appreciate it, Gary.
Sir?
Yes, my name's Freddie Latella. My address is 184 Hawthorne Road, Southwest, Etna, Ohio, 43062. I've been the assistant zoning inspector since the beginning of the year, and it's pretty much been a full-time position. I'm doing this because I enjoy working with the residents of Etna Township. I've proven that I can work with the residents of Etna Township. I also have proven that I can talk to Amy Gill, the assistant prosecutor. I can talk to LCPC, Licking County Planning. I can talk to the engineer's office. These people respond to me because I treat them right, okay? My understanding now, Mr. Burkholder, is that you want to replace me, okay? you want to replace me with a fantastic gentleman. I mean, Ted Walker is a fantastic gentleman. But it's not right. It's not right. I'm also requesting that I get paid for last Thursday, Friday, yesterday, and today, because there was absolutely no reason for you to not schedule me in for those days. Okay? Ms. McKee, do you have any intention of getting rid of me?
It's not about getting rid of you, Freddie. I don't have intentions of getting rid of you.
Okay.
I have intentions of keeping you here part-time.
Right. Mr. Evans, do you have any intention of getting rid of me?
We've had these discussions that, I mean, eventually in the future, I think we need all full-time, and that, you know, if you're part-time phased out, but at the moment, no.
Okay. Mr. Burkholder?
I have an executive session, which I've advised you and the other trustees to discuss employment issues among employees, so I'm not going to comment in a public session. It's appropriate to do it in executive session. The trustees will have a discussion regarding employment, your employment, in executive session. And if there's a decision made, which will not be made in executive session, it will be made in an open meeting.
Why are we not doing this in an open meeting? Why are we not discussing this? I mean, if
We can if you wish.
It's a personnel issue first, Mr. Latella, and I'm going to advise the board with an update here tonight.
okay,
And when the trustees contacted me via email and wanted to know what was going on, I specifically said, we'll discuss it in an executive session so that it's not an illegal discussion regarding an employment issue.
However, if Mr. Latella wants to discuss it publicly, I think he has that
Well, I
right.
think we need to have the executive session first so that the facts, that the board is fully informed before we have a discussion. This is not the proper way, Mr. Evans. You like to talk about employment issues. You like to talk about the proper procedure. This should be discussed in executive session. And then you'll have the full story of the situation.
well, I would like to be part of that executive session. If you're talking about me and what's going on with this township, as far as I'm concerned, I would like to be part of that executive session.
That'll be a decision by the board, and I think that the board needs to be informed first about the employment issue. So,
Okay.
and if you want to address it subsequent to that, that's fine. I have no problem with that.
All right, sounds good.
Very
Thank you
good.
very much.
Thank you. Who's next? Yes.
Phyllis Bundy, 10254 Tollgate Road. I just have something small. I saw today that the speed detector is up by FedEx, and we'd also like to have it turned around and going the other way too. No big deal, but we really appreciate that speed detector on the road.
Very
Thank
good.
you.
Thank you. Anyone else?
Don't let the hat fool you. John Kennard,
Is this,
10785 Palmer Road, Pataskala, Ohio. I see they start working on the rocks at the roundabout. Looks pretty nice. I don't have too much concern about the kind of rocks around the roundabout. I'm more concerned about getting around the roundabout on the yields. So I don't know what the big deal was, but that's being taken care of. A good job. Question is, I think last year, Ms. McKee, I have to approve this, or I think we spent almost $800,000 or $900,000 to repave Palmer Road from Taylor Road to Mink Street. Was that last year?
500,000.
500 last year. And then this year we painted with this real thin stuff that doesn't even mark out the yellow line. That's called a sealer or whatever, from Main Street to Taylor Road, is that right?
Also Etna Parkway and Heritage Drive.
Oh, I knew
What
there-
was- yeah,
Yeah, I knew there was other areas, but,
It's called Reclamite.
okay, thank you. And why didn't we seal from Main Street to Tollgate Palmer Road? That road is old. It needs sealed and protected. The new road, maybe it could have been another year or two since it's brand new road. But I know we got a smooth salesman selling this stuff to the township, so we're spending a lot of money. Who maintains that road or who supervises the maintenance of that road? Right after we got to spend all that money to get that road paved, somebody came along and dug a ditch across the road, put in lines or whatever they put in, but their quality of work is terrible. Now we got not a speed bump, we got a speed ditch on Palmer Road between Main Street and Taylor. Yeah. So we need to get those guys out and make them improve our road back to where it was in the original condition. We have a brand new road. Now we got a road that's got a speed bump in it.
30 seconds.
That's the ditch. I talked about the ditch. Maybe you guys need to make sure that you cross your T's and dot your I's so we don't spend 15 minutes trying to approve the minutes or object to the minutes. And I'm surprised we didn't have some kind of agenda or minutes to maybe remove somebody else from office and replace them with the vice president title. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
To quickly address your issue with the question about the reclamite, that is a process that is done on newly paved roads. The majority of the multines in asphalt degrade within the first year or two, so this replenishes it and significantly increases the useful life. The Tasco does it, Pilot Township does it. There's a lot of studies, especially out of Minnesota, in that. Regarding the culvert, that was to correct the flooding back in 2023. I believe they did not properly compact it. They came back at their own cost to redo it. However, it appears that, it wasn't done properly.
Very good. Anyone else? I'm sorry, go ahead.
John Hanson, 51 Ridgewood Drive. What Mr. Bernard was saying there about the sales job, I have people call me and ask me to ask things here, like Evans, he gets these mysterious phone calls that people want, they're curious about. And I've had at least 2 or 3 people ask me if Mr. Evans gets a commission on all his spending. Are you a salesman for Reclamite part-time? Or are there future, one person was speculating, maybe there's future campaign donations. And then with the AHS thing, the $100,000, why is that company not spending one dime to pursue this money, and you're spending all the township money to give that back? So why is that?
How am I spending any money to try to get?
Let him finish, Mr. Evans.
You can answer that later on Facebook, Grant. The one thing I was wondering about is the public records thing is still quite a mess. I have a bunch pending, and I know at least 20 separate requests pending from other people. And the latest one that was made was for the video from the August 6th meeting. And Mr. Evans, Trustee Evans says that that is his private property. And it's not done, he does this out of the goodness of his heart. It's not for the township. So he sent that back, the refusal in writing. I'm just wondering when that will be complied with. When you had your John Singleton attack, your camera thing, what took 6-7 months to get that released. And of course you wouldn't have released that at all if who was it, Sly or somebody hadn't posted. It was already out there by the time you posted.
That was released that day to the prosecutor.
It wasn't released to the public, and that's what all the records and the problems were about. So, but at any rate, you know, maybe someday Ryan Davis will stand up and tell the truth about, you know, what happened that day. And there was more, you know, if you read the transcript. I have a transcript on Citizens of Etna available.
30 seconds.
Thank you. I have a transcript available. If you read the transcript, it's a different thing. The genius of Evan's presentation is it's so long and boring, you lose interest. But in writing, you can go right to the key parts. So I was reading the thing on toxic leadership, and it says nasty people just don't make others feel miserable. They create economic problems for their organizations. And that's what you're doing, Mr. Evans. You want to make everyone else look bad in a sick way. You think that makes you look good. But you look like a whining toddler doing this every meeting.
You've had your 3 minutes, sir.
Thank you.
And just quickly, I'll say that I don't get a dime from anybody. I don't hire relatives like it's been done in the past. Mr. Carlisle passed the trash and got a $500 donation. I don't do that stuff.
Okay.
And that's the problem with it that I'm fighting against, the corruption you're supporting.
Carlisle's been gone for 3 years.
He's still in the township. He'll be here Friday.
That's enough.
Should he move?
He'll be here Friday.
I'm going to recognize at this time Ms. McKee. I think she had say.
Yeah, I just wanted to just say that I have a concern, and my job as a trustee is to protect the township, and I'm going to always speak up to do that. If there's a public record request done by a citizen, which John Hanson has done it, I've seen it, I responded to it. I've also pulled emails from our prosecutor from 2022 and also our current prosecutor and the one in between, the late Mark. He did state, Mark Evans, you have to provide those videos. If not, we can be sued. Cost the citizens $25 to sue the township. Please, I beg you to provide the information.
Those will be provided as I've provided everything else.
Thank you.
Do you have a time frame on this?
Those are my
Mr. Evans?
personal, they are not public records.
Well, according to the prosecutor, they are.
No.
Well, then
You know what are public
then
records? These videos that you're withholding, that I asked the board for, that I asked you for,
Which ones are you talking about, Mr.
on
Evans?
the 23rd.
Yes, the 23rd, and that request is into the security company to produce a copy of that, which I advised you at the previous meeting that I have no intention. In fact, it's the new board policy. There is not going to be unfettered access to the security cameras for the town hall, Mr. Evans. You know that. So that request has been made to the security company, and they haven't produced it yet. I hope, I can't guarantee that I have it by this Friday, but I'll make a motion that we clarify this by referring this again to the Lincoln County prosecutor for a clarification that those in fact are a public record and they need to be released. Is there a second to the motion?
I'll second.
Is there any further discussion on the motion?
Yes, because it's quite interesting that Mr. Burkholder, your and I's discussion prior to you taking this seat was the exact opposite. It's amazing how much you've changed as soon as you sat down there.
No.
And
Well, Mr. Evans, I do believe that at the organizational meeting that I was voted to deal with the security cameras and to get them reinstalled, to discover the DVR, which I found, which is secured, the old DVR. We got the cameras reinstalled. You were notified because you wanted to see the old DVR and its footage, and I advised you on more than one occasion. It's here in the township. And you said you were too busy to look at it.
on your stated time.
But given what you have done to weaponize security footage from this town hall against other trustees and other individuals, I'm going to stand by my policy based on your behavior, which has not been proper, has been irresponsible. So we will get you a copy of that video.
And I want to continue on with the conversation. And to piggyback off what you were saying, Mr. Burkholder, we provided him a DVR when we had Ms. Hanson here as our administrator, and she can attest to it. He refused the same exact thing that he did to you. Yes.
Okay,
Can I
well,
say something?
yes, fiscal officer, continue.
Thank you.
I sent Amy Gill, our prosecutor, a message on the videotape when we got that records request, because I wanted to make sure that it wasn't public, or it wasn't, whatever.
You're saying it wasn't private?
It's not private.
citizens.
Mark's videos, they are, yes it is, he will need to provide a copy of that video. So his video, this is on August 15th, is a public record. So
Yep.
they are not personal.
It is not, however, I do provide those to the public.
Well, we will,
I will forward this to all.
And again, this
I
is
think she
totally
said-
opposite of what
she said to all
Mr.
of us.
Burkholder
No,
was
he didn't.
Yeah, I got one. That's fine.
okay.
15th?
She sent
Okay.
us
saying with the
Okay.
open meetings violations, just ignores them once he takes office.
You, Mr.
The
Evans, I
union
just wish you
contract.
would not try to bring up what happened in the past. Please, let's move forward.
Oh, I know.
Roll call, please.
Thank you.
Roll call, thank you.
Wait, roll call.
We have a roll call on the motion that we're going to refer this again from the Board of Trustees to the prosecutor and get a more definitive explanation. And if we can get copies of those previous, from 2022?
I have some from 2022 from a previous prosecutor,
I'd like to see those as well, so
Carolyn Carnes.
we can move forward with that as well. Roll call, please.
Mr. Evans?
No.
Mr. Burkholder?
Yes.
Ms. McKee?
Yes.
Okay, and I'm sorry, sir. Go ahead. State your name and address and.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Bizan Batrai. My address is 10113 Taylor Road, Southwest. I'm computer network engineer, and I have a couple of businesses in Reynoldsburg, like a printing business, as well as IT services business, repair business, and a couple of salon. So I just bought a property at the Taylor and Palmer corner because I want to build something. I want to raise, like a pond for the Etna Township, because I like to work with Etna Township. So before I bought it, I came to here, I talked to the Freddie. Hey Freddie, I'm planning to have a small business here, and I'm planning to have a sports center on that corner. Is that possible? He said, yes, it is. There is no date restriction. He pulled everything except residential. You cannot build for the residential, which is because of the local business area. So, as his advice, I bought that place, and then I'm on a process for the architectural, civil engineer, and everybody, because I want to build as soon as possible. By the way, I'm belonging from the Nepalese community, because Nepalese community is big in this area. That's why I want to serve everyone. But I already have architects, everybody working on the property, and they already done for the survey and then soil test everything, and they are going to submit all paperwork to the Etna Township. But I was here a couple of times, and then I saw another gentleman, I don't know the name, I'm so sorry for that. And when I was talking, hey Freddie, so I'm going to do this, and then another guy, I heard he is a consultant, but I never seen him. But when I talk to any zoning questions, because I want to do the right, I don't want to go back and then do correct, and that's why I was asking the questions to the Freddie, and then he was saying, what he always pulled like that. My question is, I did second times, he always, when I was asking something to the Freddie, he always bothered, and then I feel, is there in the Etna Township, they do discriminate the people? Maybe because I'm from Nepali community, is he discriminating or not? This is my first time I'm here. That's what I would like to know. But today, when I come here, I see there is an employment issue. My question is there possible we can solve this employment issues as soon as possible? That way, I want to move forward my project. I want to complete my project as soon as possible. That's my questions and that's my time. Thank you so much.
30 seconds.
Thank you. Can I ask you, is your business over on 256?
Yes.
Okay, I think I met you before, right?
Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, and I am familiar, I believe you came in quite a while ago as well regarding that project and talked about what you wanted to put on that corner. So we can follow up and see what the you have an application in, or?
So I didn't submit yet here because I want to submit, I want to do everything right and then submit it.
Okay.
But I feel so bad, you know, like he always asks, what's going on, let's pull up the address. No, that's not right, that's not, which is not I'm expecting, you know what I mean? So
I understand.
if possible, I want to move forward, I want to do something at the Etna, and I want to do the next project because I do invest, you know, like a real estate too. I have a multiple, project I'm planning to do in the Etna, but that's the first project I'm doing in Etna. I do have it in Reynoldsburg, but I feel so bad, like I feel, I don't know, like maybe I don't want to, you know what
No,
I
I understand, sir. And we just want to make sure that when we give advice to applicants or anyone that wants to develop a property, that it's the correct advice, that we don't misspeak on its compliance with the zoning
But sounds
resolution.
like he
Well,
always bothers me.
I appreciate you coming in. Thank
Yeah,
you.
please, sorry for the language.
No,
you're
fine.
Thank you.
Anyone
Don't
else
worry. Thank you.
at this time that would like,
You're
sir,
a
please come
resident, so-
forward. State your name and address, please.
Good evening. Bhim Basne, 10479 Taylor Road, Reynoldsburg, Ohio. We recently bought the property for Vedic Welfare Society, a non-profit organization that serves the entire Bhutanese Nepali-speaking people. This community is somewhat new, and we had the same Vedic Welfare Society, our religious property in Columbus area, and from June of 2024, we bought the new property here in Etna Township. Our entire community is very pleased to be here at Etna Township and work together and move forward, because our community flew from Bhutan due to the political issue in 1990s, stay in Nepal for several years, exile life. Our community people that are old, young, adult, everyone, they need some kind of refreshment. There is a lot of frustration, other unexpected activities they have to go through, and they want some kind of get-together place. So here we are here at Tilarut, and most of the time I came here, met with Mr. Freddy. I appreciate him. He is very lovely guy, show us what exactly we need to do and how to move forward. I was very pleased, and we came together with other friends. Everybody appreciate the direction that he used to give and move forward. Thank you so much, Mr. Freddy. My appreciation and my community appreciation. We had a lot of things to move ahead or do. Like we need to build a temple, our own Hindu temple. And there are some other huge building, like last month, not last month, yes, sure. On July, we had a very huge event where a lot of people were in the event for a religious event, 1 week religious event organized by the community, Pasnet family, and everyone, not the people, those who are here in Columbus, all over US, even Canada and some other countries, they attended, they appreciate the place, they appreciate Etna, and they appreciate the whole community. So everybody very pleased. I appreciate whole Etna Township. We need to have some kind of other building structure to be built. We'll come here, and we like to work together, and I am very pleased to be part of Etna Township.
Thank you.
My appreciation, as well as from my whole community, and thank you, Mr. Freddy, for all kind of help and that you have done so far. My appreciation. Thank you, everybody.
Thank you,
I
sir.
have one question for you. Is the location you're referring to going towards Walmart, is that the new state the building that used to be a church or some sort?
On the
So
east.
it's
Yes,
on
on the right in front
Yes.
of Slate Ridge Elementary
Yes.
School, and we have already applied for, there is no left turn towards our temple.
Yes.
So we are in need of a left turn signal as well, because it's somewhat very curved and sometimes the cars are running very fast.
Okay.
There is no left turn signal towards 10479
Okay.
Taylor Road towards the Vedic Welfare Society building. This I already talked with Freddie, and necessary application or email has been already sent.
Okay,
Thank you very much.
thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else at this time? Anyone else?
No, the only thing I'd like to respond quickly to Mr. Weigels is, you see how fast they got to prosecute your opinion for that, but not your issue. It shows the lack of.
Well, Mr. Evans, you know, we still have some more things that we're going to discuss, so you didn't give me a chance to make a motion. I'm more than happy to get a hold of the prosecutor, but that'll be in a motion. But first, I want to finish up the roads. Under the roads, I want to address to the board the Ohio Public Works Commission. There'll be an application, I believe it's sometime in November. What projects would the board like to bring forward so that we can move forward with that? So we had one, I believe, was it last year? Was it in 2023 that we had one that was not accepted?
Mm-hmm.
So let's put this on the schedule for the next meeting. So are you aware do you have any thoughts on that, Mr. Evans?
We just had to review what we plan for our ongoing road maintenance and replacement. I think instead of looking at it year by year, we've got to look at it 5-10 years down the line, and that's what I'm starting to do. So I can pull together kind of a list of some areas that we can do it. One of the things that probably could be done is in 2021, we're going to do Etna proper. And it was pulled when John Carlisle lost the election. And if we're going to do it then, why wouldn't we do it now? Even in 22, it was refused to apply for that. So I think we've had several missed opportunities, but that would probably be one, especially if we're going to move forward with the Pike Street in 2026. But again, we don't have any public input on that one yet either. So I think there's a lot up in the air right now.
Well, the public input is going to be forthcoming. In fact, we have a meeting this week relative to the Pike Street. So I know you've been talking about this a lot, Mr. Evans. It's not being pushed aside, but you have to have something to present to the community. So keep that. We can have a further discussion at a later meeting on what projects we might want. What about the pavement technology reclamite application update? I believe you
Yes, the pavement technology completed their application to reclamite, which again is for newly paved roads to extend the useful life of those roads. That was Wednesday through Friday. The estimates that they used were from pavement management, which were below again. However, they had 3,800 yards short, and they decided to go ahead with that and gifted that application $5,000 worth to the township, just so they wouldn't have to come back to us and have those issues as before. Moving forward, what I think we need to do is for our entire road inventory, have a specific data on sections, so that when we do this kind of work or even other repavement, that we have those engineer figures on hand, so we don't have any of these kind of issues in the future.
So I take we have the inventory from Pavement Technologies, or the company Pavement Management that did the review?
Well, Pavement Management did the review of the roads. They estimate the road width and length and those quantities. They're not the specific engineer's estimates that are received when we're repaving a section in that. So there can be some discrepancy in what's stated by Pavement Management versus actual when you have intersections, turn lanes, and that it's not that exact. It's more focused on general quantities and more focused on the road condition. So,
Right. But we have those PCI reports that might, a pavement condition index that might give us direction as to what roads should be considered next relative to a capital improvement plan.
yes, they've been provided to the board.
Right. So do you have any recommendations that you want to discuss at the next meeting?
At the next meeting, possibly.
Well,
I mean, I
yeah.
can. I mean, this is just brought up here, and this is one of the things that I say that we need to include the things like today, there's just a resolution sat on the desk that wasn't included in here. That
That's correct.
if those items are included in the agenda software, the board can properly prepare and have that information and kind of plan.
We don't expect an answer tonight, but I went ahead and looked up what the OPWC deadline would be, because the portal opens on October 1st, and then the submission deadline is, I just looked it up, is November 1st. So I'm just bringing these out for discussion. The next is on Roland Road. I'm happy to report that the concern we had from a resident regarding the sign that was torn down there, that sign has been replaced. Request was made that there be no outlet placed on those posts, because a lot of people go down on that dead-end street. And I did have a call from the resident who was very pleased that the township took care of that project.
I do have a question on that. So that is our responsibility?
Yes, it is. We actually had the road superintendent check with ODOT. ODOT used to replace those, but given the fact that we can't apply for another grant as a township to replace those signs, our superintendent was told that that'd be our responsibility, so we took care of it.
Okay, well, and just to point it out that the resident contacted me after you didn't respond to another.
Yeah, I know, Mr. Evans, you continue to say that about every resident, and as I've said before, and I'm going to continue to say it, we're supposed to work as a team. But instead of solving the problem, Mr. Evans, you went to Facebook to once again put negative comments, whether it's about, now just let me finish, whether it's about Ms. McKee or myself. So I did the work as a team with the road superintendent, contacted the residents, and we followed up on it.
Okay.
So let me just, I'm not going to debate it. We got the job done.
Okay, well, just
So
to set the record straight, the resident contacted me when they didn't hear from you. I contacted ODOT, I contacted a road superintendent. The only thing I asked for was permission to get an opinion from the prosecutor. You did not reply, and then thankfully it was handled. But it shouldn't, as the resident said, it shouldn't take this much work from the residents or the board to get it done.
Okay, Mr. Evans, enough discussion. You can never look at the positive of what we accomplish. I make a motion that we refer the intergovernmental agreement on Refugee Road to the prosecutor to represent us, to review the IGA intergovernmental agreement with the city of Pataskala, that there is approximately a $200,000 over the budget according to the IGA on Refugee Road, and that is related to the right-of-way and some of the improvements. And I'm reading from an email. The engineer's office is contributing about $100,000 to the balance owed, so approximately $100,000 remains. At this point, they don't know the exact figure. Pataskala made a soft commitment to pay some of the costs remaining, but the details of that offer are outstanding. At this point, it appears our function for the township would be to review the materials and determine whether we are obligated to advance additional funds and whether or how we can do that within the confines of the agreement. Now, apparently, the project is still under budget, which happens to do with the amount of the budget, but it is over what the intergovernmental agreement had said. So the question is, the prosecutor, though, would like a resolution, as I stated earlier, would like to confirm or obtain a copy of the resolution or meeting minutes that reflect the board's assent to our handling the matter. So my motion is to refer to the prosecutor so that we can follow up on this. Is there a second?
So moved.
Second, okay.
So
Second by Ms.
for
McKee.
conversation.
Discussion?
Oh, yeah. So they're saying now that we went 200,000 over.
Yes.
But then I thought the project came in under the budget, and that's why the stones are being moved around down there right now.
You are
Correct
correct.
that, Mr.
It's under budget, but with some of the right-of-way that they had to purchase, and I believe it's associated with Microsoft,
Oh, I
that
know.
right-of-way is, they're going to have to purchase that right-of-way.
Yes,
It's not
yes.
being donated. So you are correct. That's the confusion is
Yes.
under budget, but over the intergovernmental agreement. And
Right.
so my comment, and I attend those update meetings, was that, well, we need to take it back to the board and see how the board
Right.
does. So,
And the Microsoft, I guess the cost of the land was going up. Am I correct on that? Is
I
why
don't
the-
know exactly.
Is that why the cost is over the budget? Is because when they first looked at it, it was one price, and then as things move along and get, the price of the property went up? So that's from my understanding. So I understand what you, the Microsoft.
well, they're not going to donate the right-of-way, so
Yep.
that's what increased the cost of the
Yes.
project. Any further discussion or questions?
Yeah, I think that changed when the ownership changed, that it wasn't solidified with the prior owner before they sold it, and so that probably changed. But my question would be, the county commissioners offered to put $1 million towards this. Has that been used and expended?
No, that was a backstop if it exceeded an amount, so.
Well, I would think that
That was not a guarantee.
Okay, but as backstop, I mean, we approved what we did for that. There was that backstop. If they're not utilizing that backstop, I'm kind of confused on that. But yeah, I moved to have the prosecutor, or not move, but I would agree with that. But my question is, why wasn't this listed on the agenda? There's too many things that just aren't being listed that are brought up.
Well, it's under the roads thing, and it's.
But that's not being transparent
Well,
to the board or the public.
Okay, Mr. Evans, we're trying to manage this project, and when you continue to add as many items as you do, we're trying to make sure these things are handled timely. And I know that doesn't please you, but it is what it is. So roll call, please.
Mr. Evans?
Yes.
Mr. Burkholder?
Yes.
Ms. McKee?
Yes.
And I'll make a motion that we refer to the prosecutor the tire claim that we had today to see if a claim can be made against the township since the contractor is not responding to that. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Any discussion on that?
Yeah, I'd like to have that amended to inquire if we can just pay it directly and then seek reimbursement from the contractor or parties. The individual should not have to wait.
Oh, I understand.
Also, Gary, when will they be done with the road? Because it's still not complete. I have a huge hole in my front yard that my kid could break his leg in. And it's very concerning because I've caught him playing out in it a couple times. So I'd like to get that corrected. They just finally moved my mailbox after 2 months.
Okay.
Complaining because it took a bunch of us getting together as neighbors to complain about that too, so.
Okay, well, we'll have a couple minutes at the end of the meeting if you want to stay that
Exactly, no
long.
refugee. I'm trying to pick vision.
I'm right by the old Ashley warehouse. They built up warehouses all over around me, and I'm like the first one when you go down, and then take a right on Refugee.
Okay.
I'm the first one past that wood
On your
line.
right side, right
Yeah.
before the little wooded area?
Yeah, I have 9 acres there. It used to be a
Okay.
chicken farm.
Do you usually have a flag hanging up on your house, the yellow house?
Yeah, no, my house is white.
Okay, I know where you're at now. Okay, so I'm trying to get a visual. Thank you.
I'll second the motion to the amendment to include whether that can be paid out directly. Roll call on the amendment, please.
Mr. Evans?
Yes.
Mr. Burkholder?
Yes.
Ms. McKee?
Yes.
And now vote on the main motion, please. Roll call.
Mr. Evans?
Yes.
Mr. Burkholder?
Yes.
Ms. McKee?
Yes.
In response to the road, I don't know that they have an exact date, but there's also some punch list items that still have to be corrected. So it may be some time until they're finally done.
It's just a big concern because I have 2 small children.
Sure.
That could get seriously injured in that.
Very good.
Thank you.
Anything else on the roads? Zoning Department. Iworks Planning and Zoning Module. I think you requested that, Mr. Evans.
Yes, that was provided. I guess we received an estimate to add that module, which can track the BZA and other other functions.
What's the cost on that?
The
You have a
addition
motion?
was, yeah, I moved to accept the iWork services agreement as presented. I'm trying to think, there were two different modules. Was the full thing not put up here? Oh no, here we go. The current package is $2,400, but it would add the permit package with the planning and zoning, I think, for the BZA, for $35. The GIS, where it would automatically update the parcels, is $850. So the total is $6,750 per year. And this is something I believe that Mr. Latella maybe sought in conjunction with Holly. And I think this was back in like June.
That's not correct, Mr. Evans. It was actually a discussion. Mr. Latella was involved, but it was actually our planning consultant, and it was our administrative assistant, Holly Palumbo, that actually, because of her familiarity with. So there's been a lot of discussion. I'll definitely second that motion. And now any questions or comments from the rest of the board? Do you have anything?
Yeah, so the purchase of this software, is it additional training that Holly or whoever is the zoning Freddie will have to take?
Yeah, I think there will be training. As I've reported previously, there are a lot of improvements that need to be made in the zoning department, which we've been making great progress on, and one of them is entering into data into the module that we already have when it comes to occupancy permits and compliance. But these would be also helpful as we're trying to improve the organization and the efficiency of our planning, our zoning commission, and also our BZA. So we've had internal discussions among the staff regarding this, and I think it would be, given our administrative assistant's experience, it'd be very helpful. So we're making quite a few changes there as far as getting these permits and really getting the system improved over what we've performed in the past.
Thank you.
Roll call, please.
Mr. Evans?
Yes.
Mr. Burkholder?
Yes.
Ms. McKee?
Yes.
Motion passes. Map and text amendment status. I mean, this ties into the comprehensive land use plan as well. This is where our intern, who happens to be Bhutanese but is from Nepal, as the gentleman stated here tonight, that journey here to the United States with MORPC, Mid-Ohio Regional Planning Commission. We tasked her with the assignment of going back to 2015 to go through all the resolutions, find out how many text amendments we've had, how many map amendments we've had, and to try to update our zoning map, which we've talked to our consultant about, and that map has not been correct, but it's part of the future land use plan. We found 29 map amendments, and I believe the remainder were text amendments. And so we have a complete list, which I provided to the board. That has been sent over to Licking County Planning, and we recently got an email that the engineer's office would like those written updates as well, so that we can update that map, which they will do for us. It needs to be on file with the engineer's office, county auditor, and also those amendments go to the county recorder as well. That process hasn't necessarily been followed 100% in the past, but the foundation to do that was to do the research. So we're going to get that information over there and get that updated map. And that's one of the reasons that we haven't had an open house yet on the comprehensive land use plan. And then I think there's a question, zoning text change process update and discussion, Z 2410.
Well, yeah, I did have a question on that of what the plan is. I'm hearing a couple different things on that. First, we got to make sure, I know everywhere I've seen it's being incorrectly referred to as 2024-04. I think we need to make sure we do that correctly, but is the plan to save what we can, remove what we need, so we don't have further delays, because there are things in there such as other fueling, which right now could affect areas with semi-fueling, what is the plan with that? Or is our board going to see something soon?
Well, I don't think it's going to be soon, because I'll tell you what the situation is. Our planning consultant and Mr. Olson from the Zoning Commission met, and I'm glad we had that extra meeting rather than just trying to push something through, because we tried to correct the errors or the recommendations that came from the Licking County Planning Commission. That first of all, let's go back a little bit. That whole thing was initiated by the previous zoning inspector. And I went to the meeting and asked the question, what was the motivation? And the motivation was merely to streamline the code. But when you do that, that can cause problems with when it references other sections of the code. So the NAIC, which are use codes by a national organization, they wanted to reduce it from 6 to 4. That was going to create problems. It was going to give more discretion to the zoning inspector, which I agree, I don't think was a good idea. So Mr. Schultz met with Mr. Olson. They worked over that. He reported it back to the board because the zoning commission is not ready to have another public or to continue the public hearing on that at this time. Mr. Schultz then talked to Angela Farley at Licking County Planning Commission, met with her as far as the process and things they were doing, and we hope to have a subsequent meeting with Jay Fisher over there, because they also had input, and so did the prosecutor have input on this as well. So we want to make sure that we're correcting all the things that they talked about in their recommendations to the Licking County Planning Commission, which came to the Etna Township Zoning Commission, so that we get it right when it goes back to hearing. And these are some of the challenges when you're changing sections of the code. But in addition to that, Mr. Evans, we're not the only people that are inundated with all the development and the zoning questions in Etna Township and the county. The county next Monday has 18 different items to discuss at Licking County Planning Commission. So those meetings have not taken place because the zoning commission staff is not available. So we all want to do things to get the zoning to protect our township, but you got to follow the process and you have to make sure you don't make mistakes. So that's the complete update on that.
Well, what I would suggest is, because the process was started 3 years ago, and neither you or I during that time could get updates, drafts, anything from the prior zoning inspector. And my concern is we're going to delay it further. Once a business puts in for use, it's allowed.
We understand
So
that.
there's some things like the other fueling. I believe we should take the things that are the major concerns of the board and move them through and let them start over with all the other stuff so we don't delay, because all we need, we already know that Sheets wants semi-fueling on 31040. That is a horrible place for semi-fueling. So if we can get this
When
through,
did you get that
Yeah,
verification?
that's not true.
that was in their plan
But
submitted.
they stopped it. They did not, no.
So all of a sudden they
Mark, that's
so
been a-
you're
that's-
gambling with what is doing it.
Hold, Mr.
What I'm saying is we should move forward with the things that we know, just like the residential hotel, just like the ready-mix concrete.
Mr.
Let's
Evans-
protect the residents
Mr. Evans.
and then fix it.
I'm going to have to, this isn't a forum for political statements. My question to you is, the AB, LB, and GB, are not those amendments that have been initiated, including what you'd like to see? Taken out, what you're talking about right now, the fueling, that's part of the...
Correct, but if you're gonna try to redo everything that Licking County said, no, like, go back to the main thing, so they're gonna have to take the time to put everything back to do, that's not gonna be this year. And all you're gonna do is give...
No, it's not going back to
businesses-
LCPC.
No, I know, but I'm saying for the zoning commission to properly deal with it.
Right.
We're in August.
Well, let me ask you this question. Were the items that you just discussed in that original amendment that went to LCPC?
Yes,
Okay, then.
but it stalled again.
Well, I disagree. it was not gonna be good if we pushed that through with the 4 codes and didn't address the issues that
We don't
Lincoln
have to
County
accept the
questions.
4 codes. We could accept the removal of the things that are detrimental.
Well, I think that's the thing that the commission should consider when they go to get that cleaned up. That's the update. You have anything?
I don't.
Okay. Stormwater? Any comments on stormwater at this time? We still, Lakeland Hills, I've talked about it, but I don't support just digging up the road and putting in another pipe. I can get back with those residents and let them know that, I think there needs to be an evaluation of the pond, a long-term solution to that. And we already talked about the Hillview, that got taken care of. Parks, Nature Works, given the lack of turnaround time that we would have, I've talked with the consultant, and we only had till the 15th, so I think it's best advised that we apply next year. And we can apply, it's my understanding, at least we can apply next year. We couldn't get that done in 2 or 3 days with all the things that were required, but we are working on getting our application finalized to send it into the Licking County Parks District and apply for that. Over a 5-year period, we can get approximately $79,000. And so we're looking to stack that on top of what we got from the state capital budget for High Point Park. Any questions on Nature Works? The Park Committee? Mr. Evans, you've been highly critical of this.
I have. I've been receiving concerned comments from committee members about what's going on. I know the July meeting was canceled. Then there were 3 dates, August 1st, 8th, and 15th, that just came and went. Again, people are concerned, are we having a meeting on the 15th? They didn't know. There's a lack of communication. I understand that there's some health issues with the consultant.
That is correct.
However, communicate that to the committee, because that's how we lost the majority of the comprehensive plan committee members, because lack of proper communication, lack of timely and recurrent meetings.
Well, let me ask you, who was a trustee on the land use plan then? I wasn't even a trustee. You were a trustee, Mr. Evans.
That was excluded from that comp plan committee. Yes. But you as a member, when it was passed, there was a handful of people. There were 15 appointed.
Yes.
And again, we spoke about all this during the election, and you agreed how it wasn't handled properly. But what I'm saying is here, the park committee that needs to have proper communication.
Okay,
you can't have people.
Mr. Evans, you
want
to continue to argue every night. I can tell you exactly what happened there. Because I talked to the consultant directly, not you.
But you're not consulting anybody else.
Let me
The
finish
members.
up. Yes, we did.
No, you did not.
Yes, we did. They were communicated with there were 3 different dates.
And then
when
nothing.
the first 2, and it was never posted either. And we did communicate. Administrative staff communicated with them, and I followed up with the consultant. He's had health issues. You should show some empathy. And he notified us, and we let the board know. And if they had a question and called in, hey, are we going to have the meeting the 15th? No, we're not going to.
You did not.
Well, that's not true. I'm sorry, but you're mistaken, and I'm not going to argue anymore or anything. That's why.
I've seen the emails.
Sir,
I've seen the emails.
Let's go.
You're obviously going to be an obstructionist on anything.
No, I just want proper communication.
Resolution 2024-26 ODOT reimbursement grant. It's on the table still. Is there a motion to take it off the table? Is there a motion to take it off the table? Hearing none, we'll move on. Ice Miller legal invoice, table 806204. Move to remove it from the table. Is there a second? Second by Ms. McKee. Discussion. I understand what you thank Mr. Evans, but we have appropriated monies for legal fees. We may have not had a specific appropriation for them, but apparently we owe this, and I would move that we pay the current bill, which we have. Is there a second? Well, first of all, roll call and taking it off the table.
Yeah.
Mr. Evans?
Yes.
Mr. Burkholder?
Yes.
Ms. McKee?
Yes.
Yes, it's removed from the table. I'll make a motion to pay the bill. Is there a second?
Ms. Oh, okay.
Well, second for discussion, and how much
Yes.
is the bill?
It's,
3,000 and some.
3,000 and something. I didn't see it in here, maybe I overlooked it. I know I remember seeing it on email, so that's fine.
So, and what are we doing about the continuing expense under this that wasn't approved? Are we gonna, have you checked with the prosecutor to see that, like all other special attorneys, that we have to have an annual agreement, or?
Yes, we do.
And why is that not part of this, or?
I've not checked it yet because we have to actually make a motion to refer that to the prosecutor.
Right.
I no longer have the authority as the president because of what you were advised earlier, because of the back and forth, which is totally delaying the system. So you want to talk about communication and efficiency, Mr. Evans? You've really bogged down the system.
I have
here in
not.
that
Ms.
Township.
McKee
Yes,
tagged
you have.
them in every email.
So, Ms.
I
McKee,
had nothing to
Ms.
do with
McKee,
it.
what's your feeling on this?
Let's just get it to the prosecutor's office. and
Very good.
move on.
I'll move to amend to send it to the prosecutor first. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Okay. Roll call, please.
Mr. Evans?
Yes.
Mr. Burkholder?
Yes.
Ms. McKee?
Yes.
Comp plan update. No update at this time. Mr. Leonard had suggested the 26th and I think the 27th of August, but there's not going to be enough time because we've got to get that map updated. It's my understanding, Mr. Evans, you've sent him all of your corrections and mistakes in the plan. Has he responded to you?
He is not. The email sent, I think it was the July 30th maybe, sent a link to all of us, and it was the same exact documents as prior. Now, just to clarify, the corrections I sent were the mistakes and that, but not dealing with the overall plan, the densities and stuff like that. Those things I think still need to be dealt with. So I don't want anybody thinking that, hey, once it's corrected, it's like the minutes, we can go forward. I think we still need a proper open house. Again, hopefully we can advertise it properly. Is there plans to do that?
I don't know. Are there, Mr. Evans? You're a trustee.
Mr.
No,
you're stopping and controlling everything.
No, that's not.
I attempted to get a discussion on using the wind waste mailer, and you refused to put it on the agenda. So don't try to blame me for your delays and lack of communication. I tried to deal with this at a prior meeting, saying that we can't just come up with a date. We got to factor in the advertisement, communication. Are the materials good? I mean, this is what was hung up before, and again, a lack of oversight. That's our zoning. That's not the new map.
We know
So,
that, Mr.
but that's
Evans.
what I'm saying. It's continuing over and over again. So I talked to our contact at Wind Waste, and they can do a mailer similar to this one. If they design it, 5 to 7 days, kind of going back and forth, and then probably another week to get it out. And then you're going to need people to put it on there. So I think we should probably get a date certain and let everybody plan in their calendars and really kind of advertise it like that.
Well, Mr. Evans, none of us disagreed with that, but you don't seem to listen to what you argue against yourself. That you can't put a date down until we get the end product and we're ready to have an open house. So when he says the 26th and the 27th, that wouldn't be enough time to advertise. So we agree with it, but until we get that document cleaned up so that we have confidence that once we set a date and advertise, we don't have the same problem we had at the last.
But you can't wait until the last minute. So are we going to move forward with this mailer? because that affects that. You get things in place, you do things parallel so that you can get it done. You don't wait, set a date, and then say, oh, wait, are we gonna get a mailer? Can they make it in time? And
Well, you've got the model, so, yeah, you can get it ready, but don't do a date yet, because we don't know what date the thing will be. So is that your motion?
So I make a motion that we utilize the free mailer with our wind waste trash contract to advertise and promote the comprehensive plan.
Once the date is set.
Right, but you can design everything and
I
you just leave the
understand.
date.
Is
That's
there a
fine.
second?
I'll second to move forward with getting it.
Roll call, please.
Mr. Evans?
Yes.
Mr. Burkholder?
Yes.
Ms. McKee?
Yes.
New business, conference room chairs.
Yeah, yay.
Is there a motion, Ms. McKee?
Yes, I would like to make a motion to purchase the conference chairs for our conference here, and it looks like, I don't know the total of chairs we're going to need to purchase. That is a concern, so.
Do you have a model you wanted?
Yeah, we had, Holly sent me three different chairs, and I checked out her chair that she has in her office. And it's a real comfortable leather chair that's on wheels. And it
I'll second your motion and then
Oh,
go ahead.
discussion, I'm
Go
sorry.
ahead. No, you're fine. Go ahead with your.
Yeah. So, yeah, the one that's, and I believe this is through
Staples.
Staples? Okay, yeah. And while I was out over the weekend, I did check around at Costco and Sam's Club. They didn't have this chair at this price. So the one that's on page 69 of 89, it's $169.99. Item number 243-28572, model 53234.
Any further discussion?
No, it's just the sale ends the 24th, so we're gonna have to put that in pretty quick. I know they've been renewing the sale, but it's significant, 37% off. So make sure we get it before then. And
Yeah.
how many are we getting? 6 to replace the 6 in there? Or are we getting an extra 1 or 2?
Yeah.
Well, I'd suggest we get 8. These chairs, they may have gotten the things checked, but they're worn out, so
Yeah.
that'll be another discussion.
Yes.
But are you okay with 8 there?
Yeah.
Okay. Roll call, please.
Mr. Evans?
Yes.
Mr. Burkholder?
Yes.
Ms. McKee?
Yes.
I'm sure if you call them and tell them you're ordering more than 5, they might give you another discount.
That's correct. Okay, web hosting proposal.
Yes, we've got a need for our website, make changes, especially with this diligent, if we're gonna roll out that officially, to put that link on there and just, I think, clean up a lot of other things. I reached out to, after doing some check reviews on that, Robin Tech, they provided that proposal, which I forwarded to the board, basically $25 a month hosting, and there's some other fees. Security, one thing, WordPress is the security of the website. So I don't know if we want to move forward with anything like that, or if we want to try to get other proposals. I've been searching, talking to other people. A lot of people just don't deal with WordPress. I think we need to do something in the interim of a complete website change. So this would be an option.
Is this just, who's currently hosting?
iPage through the former resident that was dealing with the website. We did get a automatic renewal for 3 years. I guess they declined the charge, whoever card that was on there. But again, if we're going to have somebody else deal with it, they have a partner that they host with, and it's just they're familiar with that.
Who's this company hosting with?
Their partner, I haven't noted at home, but could find out, or you could talk to them.
So they're not doing the hosting, or are they doing the hosting?
They do the hosting, but it's through a partner. It's like
Okay.
nobody, like I've got websites, I don't do those, so I just get it. They do it, but they handle the design of it, they handle the security of it.
Oh, now we're redesigning our website?
No, this is just to maintain, make the little changes, like right now,
Okay,
we're going to Diligent,
I
and that's
understand.
where all the calendar stuff's gonna be, so to place that on the website, to do those
Let's
changes.
make a motion. You have the cost?
Well, it's monthly cost.
Yeah, I think there was a total.
No, there's not a total, it's a monthly cost of $25 for the hosting, $70 a year for the secure browsing option, and that's recommended. Then the security maintenance is $95 a month, where they ensure that the backups are done, the site's secure, and all that kind of stuff. Migration, where was that cost for migration? I mean, this was all provided to the board.
I know it was, Mr. Evans. You're going to make the motion. So
Right. Migration, 4 hours at $140 an hour, so $560 to migrate it. Total monthly cost, $120.
And what kind of customer service then? Are we going to be able to make the changes here from the town hall?
Well, the way the WordPress is you can install blocks and portions where we can add things to it, and that's where I think having a proper vendor, we'll be able to set that up, because before we had an issue where there were other changes made accidentally that I think they can do that. I mean, I'm fine with if others want to try to find another vendor.
Is there a second? I'll second the motion. Well, I think we need some stability given the, some of the situation. So, but I move to him. Go ahead.
Yeah, well, I know we're in the process of hiring an administrator, and they will be responsible for a lot of this stuff. I didn't know if we wanted to kind of wait until they got here and kind of work with them on this. That's a suggestion.
I would prefer that, because I was going to amend the motion that once the administrator come here, they'd be the contact person, not Mr. Evans.
Right.
So here's my question.
Go ahead.
We owe for iPage, which we use right now. Do we want to pay for maybe a year so that we still have our
Instead
website?
of going to 3 year.
Is there a contact with the current web designer?
I know, I think Lauren, Gary, were you familiar with that gentleman?
Yes, I was. Yeah, I was. But I think given the circumstances, we do need to change. But I agree. I don't think we want to go 3 years, but.
I think we need to do something not to get rid of it yet.
Well, can we go 1 year?
I'll call them on.
Okay.
Okay. Well, then move to table. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Roll call, please.
Mr. Evans?
Yes.
Mr. Burkholder?
Yes.
Ms. McKee?
Yes.
Very good. Zoning Department. I have several items you've asked here, Mr. Evans. Some of these are, in my opinion, executive session.
Well, I think Ms. McKee also asked.
Yes. Ms. McKee, do you want to have anything?
Well, what I need to talk about, it has nothing to do with executive session. It's just that I needed to find out schedules and hours, because I've gotten several calls of folks trying to come to the township and nobody's here.
That's great.
So if I could stay in the loop of what time somebody's here, and that way we can make sure the residents are getting the help that they need.
I agree with you completely. Mr. Schultz's schedule, he was out today with illness, but his schedule is normally Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday. Anything regarding staffing here will be discussed tonight in executive session.
Well,
excuse me, I'm not finished. Just one other question. So Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday, is this a normal 8 to 5 hours?
Yeah, normally 8:30, sometimes 8:30 to 5:30,
Okay.
flexes a little bit.
Okay, gotcha. That's all I
But
need.
more than happy to answer that.
Thank you.
And as Ms. McKee stated, I've been contacted by residents again that have come, and office, nobody's here. I think we've got to watch that, but I am concerned about, as Mr. Latella indicated, that his hours were cut Thursday, Friday, Monday, and Tuesday when we have that great need. And so I don't understand why you can't discuss it. If you're going to discuss it in executive session, fine. But to do that, it seemed retaliatory to me. But
Well, you're absolutely incorrect, Mr. Evans, but once again, you don't have the facts, but I'll be happy to update you when we get into executive session. I had to make a decision. I made the proper decision, and you'll have the whole story once we get into executive session. Both my colleagues will. That's the way it's done when it deals with personnel. You know that, Mr. Evans. Southwest Lakeland Community Water and Sewer District, you added this, Mr. Evans?
yes, I'm very concerned. Number one, we're getting no reports, no information from our appointed individual, basically ignoring that at the request of the board. And also their planned expansion that requires the court approval. Is anything being done as the point person for legal in that? I know you ran on holding them accountable and dealing with that. Has anything been done?
Yeah, I sent something
Are
out.
things being done?
I've got to check. I sent something out to the prosecutor regarding some of the things you talked about there, but I think we need to make another motion now because we have to now produce minutes or a resolution, a motion that we recontact the county prosecutor to see if we have any recourse relative to, what do you want it to be? The expansion of the district and the
Well, about the appointee, not providing information,
and
reports,
the expansion of
the
the
expansion
district.
of the district.
Is there a second?
I'll second for discussion.
Yes, go ahead, Ms. McKee.
So the appointee that we have as Trent Step, and you're saying we're not getting that report, and you want that report whether it's in person or by email? Mr. Evans?
Well, we should get some report.
Okay.
He's refused both,
Okay,
plainly.
He has refused.
okay,
He has refused.
all right.
Because our former administrator forwarded to him a request for that, and he replied he doesn't have to.
Roll call, please.
Mr. Evans?
Yes.
Mr. Burkholder?
Yes.
Ms. McKee?
Yes.
Maintenance of the town hall.
Though, do you want to go over windways?
Oh, I'm sorry, windways. Once you make a motion, you need action on that?
Well, there's no, it's just discussion.
They're sending it out? Okay.
Yeah,
Make it brief. Go ahead.
There was communication sent out by email and postcard, also with the last bill, that there's a $4.25 fee if you don't enroll in auto pay. Per our contract, that is not applicable to us. They are sending out another postcard. They should be sending out another email correcting that. So I just want to let the public know that there's no additional fees that were charged or will be charged.
Very good. Maintenance of the town hall building. Any update, Mr. Evans?
Well, I spoke to Ben Sugar with the firm that you had review the building. He got back to me briefly on his plan to test the absorption rate of the bricks. He was using the Ryland test. It should be the other ASTM 1601, I believe. So before we do anything, I think we got to clarify that. I asked him if he had any estimates for the planned work. The only thing he had said was for the materials for the wood, and then stated that due to the steepness of the roof, he wouldn't go up there, but they could have a roofer at $80 an hour plus 20% office fee to do that for, I think it's that pergola. There was no other information on any of the other items he had provided. So I'm not sure what we want to do with that and his company and his report.
What do you recommend?
Well, I think the items need to be addressed. The brick ceiling, I don't believe is that urgent or even a need. We can review that. But as far as again, the doors, the wood, and the other areas. I think the painting that you brought out of repainting those lines out there, our road crew can do. I believe they've done it before. But again, I think with all these needs, if we're going to do something, we should do something sooner than later with the weather changing. Again, you know, your past stance was have the administrator deal with it.
I don't, when did I say that, Mr. Evans?
You did.
I don't recall that.
You did.
No, I don't recall that.
You did.
You've been complaining about the maintenance of this building.
I have, and that's where you said I wouldn't support you doing it. The administrator should do it.
Hold on a minute.
And that was before taking.
No, hold on a minute. You were appointed by the previous board to follow up on this, and you never did. And now,
please, in winter,
I give you
and I did get the estimates. But we're not going to do the work at tremendous cost to heat and tent the areas to allow painting of the exterior. And that's when you said, let the administrator deal with it. Your words.
I don't recall that, but
and that's
we'll
fine.
We'll move on. It appears nothing. Do you have anything?
Yes, I do. Just while we're talking about the building itself, I know, Mr. Evans, you took the building plans out of this building. Were they ever returned?
Yes, Mr. Burkholder.
Okay.
Received
I just want to make sure.
I have.
Okay, that's fine. That's the only question I have.
I appreciate it.
And when you talk about maintenance, when you talk about the wood, are you talking about the trimming outside?
I have the pergola up on top of the building.
Okay.
Judge appointees, I'll make a motion. I don't know which board is up, but I'll make the general motion so we have enough time to advertise. We'll get the details. I don't know if it's JEDSI 1 or 2, but I'll make the motion that we advertise for the JEDSI appointments, which I believe are going to expire, some of them here in October of 2024. There is a meeting here on Friday of the JEDSIs and the JEDs, and is there a second?
I'll second.
And I'll turn it over to you, Ms. McKee. I don't know if you have any information on that.
No,
I know
it is October, and we will advertise if that's what the board here chooses to do.
Okay.
To get it out there, and we do have a meeting on Friday, so if anybody, it's a public meeting, so anybody can come. It starts at 11, and they usually go, because we do the JEDs, the 1 and 2, and then the other JEDs, and they usually run until about 2 o'clock. So you're welcome to show up for that, just to be a part of that meeting. And the other boards, they don't expire for another year, so.
And they're very informative.
Very.
Very informative.
Yes. So you know where your money's going.
And since we're under JEDSIs, the other has to do with reimbursement. Have we, I think there was a request, or there's some funds we talked about, Mr. Evans, of maybe possibly requesting, was it on Heritage Drive and some of the repairs that were made?
That was with the reclamite application. Ms. McKee was supposed to, I believe that their prior approval would cover that.
Right.
Because it was for the road pavement, and this is considered part of that. A lot of times it's done in conjunction. So I think this Friday, that permission should be either clarified or sought for reimbursement of those the portion of the funds that are within Etna Parkway and Heritage Drive, which I believe I've already broken out.
Thank you.
We can ask that on Friday.
Very good. Timing's good. Fiscal officer's report.
Are you ready?
Yes, we are. You want to talk about the COVID money first?
COVID money. We have about $170,000 that we have to spend by the end of 2025, but we have to know what we're spending it on by the end of 2024. We can buy a car for the policeman, we can do payroll, it's up to us, but it has to be spent by the end of 2025, and we have to allocate what we're going to spend it on by the end of 2024.
Can we spend it on us, the township, purchasing a vehicle? Because we talked about that, having a vehicle here for our zoning person or the administrator or even the trustee to get it, you know. So if that's something we could check into to see if we could purchase like a truck for the states.
Right.
Well, we know that it's applicable to the sheriff's deputies that we're paying for and their vehicles and that. Would it be a little simpler to just apply that to their salary, and then out of general funds, if we need a car for zoning, buy a car from zoning. I mean, those are already approved COVID purchases. We've already expended COVID money on those deputy salaries, so that's what I would recommend doing.
Will that require a resolution?
Well, I know we did before.
I'll ask the prosecutor and I'll ask Julian and Ruben, see how to do that.
Very good.
So I'll take care of that for the next meeting.
Thank you.
Anything else if we could use it on?
I mean, you should be able to just copy the prior resolution that we used.
Well, let me just say what we found out at the Jed and Jedsies, that if you're restricted, as you recall that one meeting, rather than spending on something that might not be approved, if we spend it on the sheriff deputies or something that's been approved, that frees up more money to your
That's
point,
right.
to get a
That's right.
vehicle,
Yeah.
which I actually would support for the zoning office. So, okay, very good. IT services, Ms. Coutinho?
I have had issues with them. The email still doesn't work 100%. I also asked them to take Julie's email off at the Township and put a forwarding thing so that it says, this email is not available, please forward to fiscal at Etna Township. I've done it through my personal email and it does not forward.
Okay, well, that's a simple setting on there. Either I could work with Kyle or I can just log in
I
and
have
have that
been
sent.
talking to Kyle and it isn't working. It's like I talk to Kyle and it doesn't get done. It's more of an issue that I don't get things done.
Okay, well, I'll
When
talk
I
to him
was
and do
going
it.
through all the emails, doing my email, fiscal email, and Julie's email, I found like 4 invoices that weren't getting paid. That's how the invoices aren't getting paid, because they're not going forward. So either they need to, I mean, the amount of money that we do pay them, they should be able to help us.
We are having recurring problems with
Yes,
IT.
I have it, yes.
So I know it takes a while to clean it up, but it's causing problems in the office.
Okay.
Item C,
To approve purchase orders.
I'll move to approve resolution 202403. Didn't you change it to 939
Yes.
to approve purchase orders as presented?
is there a second?
I'll second.
Second, questions, discussion?
Well, again, the only thing I have is with the ice miller, if we need that agreement or not.
Right.
I have a question about ice miller. Isn't that for the NCA and we get
Yes.
paid back?
Well,
Yes, we do.
So then why would we need,
But we're still engaging this township, they're our attorney.
They actually represent the township. They were hired to set it up, and they represent the township. And then we get billed, and then we go to the NCA for reimbursement.
okay.
Roll call?
Mr. Evans?
Yes.
Mr. Burkholder?
Yes.
Ms. McKee?
yes.
Item D?
I have a question.
Yes.
Okay. I know this has nothing to do, but the next pay is September 1st. September 1st is a Sunday. September 2nd is a Monday, Labor Day, so the pay won't go in until the 3rd. Do I pay the 31st? Or does that screw everything over?
You have to pay that over.
So I get paid the 3rd? Okay.
Well, you submit it, when do you submit it then? Can you submit it prior to the previous week, but have it actually hit on the 1st? Can it be scheduled that way through the bank?
No, it won't let me schedule the 1st.
Okay.
It blocks it out.
Because it's, yes.
Because of the holiday, Sunday and the holiday, it's blocked out. So, just an FYI.
Thank you.
Also, okay, there are payments.
Is there a motion to ratify the payment of the bills as shown on the payment listing?
So moved.
Is there a second?
I'll second.
Second. Questions, discussion?
The Park National Bank for 381438, about halfway down the page. What is that?
Which one?
The one for Park National Bank for 381438,
That's payroll.
the payroll.
Now, I do, because of the fact that we are now certified, most of us in the office, as far as.
Oh, that reminds me.
What?
Mark, I need your certification for the fraud.
All right, already sent that.
Okay, I'll look for it.
I sent that the day it was sent out.
Yeah. So with that being said, I need to see timesheets. Even though Gary is over the office, I need to see the timesheets. They should be a part of this package.
That's fine.
That's fine.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
All employees?
Yeah, just so we can be,
Okay.
you know,
It just should be copied to everybody
Yeah,
when they
that's all.
submit them.
yeah.
So you want every week,
Yeah.
you want every pay when they send the timesheets and just to send them to you guys too?
Yeah.
Just like Mr. Coakley does in the road crew, he sends them out to everybody.
Mhm.
Okay.
Yeah, we have to see them. That's just to protect.
I understand.
Very good. Roll call, please.
Mr. Evans?
Yes.
Mr. Burkholder?
Yes.
Ms. McKee?
Yes.
Any transfers?
Yes. I need a motion to transfer 40,000. Was that what we talked about?
You were saying 50.
50,000 from the regular checking account?
Hold on.
So I'll move to transfer $50,000 from our primary checking account to the HRA checking account.
Is there a second?
I'll second.
Okay, discussion.
And this is just to cover any of the possible uses of the HRA and the cards, and that initially I think there was $10,000 only put in there. We need to ensure that there's sufficient funds should something happen and somebody go to the doctor or hospital and their HRA card is not declined.
Okay.
And it doesn't mean that we're using all that money, it's just, it's transferred there in case. And then come January 1st, whatever's left in there, we can do a calculation based on the deductible and out-of-pockets for everybody of what should be pre-funded.
I got a question on this payment list, because I see, okay, you have the date of August 7th through August 21st.
Yes.
So you are
This
paying.
payroll tomorrow.
Okay, so it looks like you're paying somebody twice on here.
Well, I paid on the 7th, and I paid on the 21st. So the
Okay.
last payroll was not on the last one.
Okay, because normally we have those
I see
separate.
what you're saying.
You see, they're
Yeah.
separate. I don't see why you're doing this, because it looks like
So you
Holly
want
got
them
paid.
separate?
Let me finish. Holly got paid on the 21st, and then she got paid again on the 8th, on the 7th.
Right.
So we usually keep those separate, like Freddie. Freddie's on here. Freddie got paid on the 21st, and then he got paid on the 7th. We usually keep those separate so we could see what's going on. And then same thing with our other office staff here. So that's why I'm just trying to figure this out, because we kept them separate.
Well, they are separate.
Well, yeah, but we never did the payment of listing on a payroll on one like this.
Well,
Well,
it was
just
probably,
happened where
it was
our
a
meeting
previous
was
meeting,
separate.
yeah.
Okay.
We had the 6th was the previous
Okay.
meeting.
Right, so that's
Payroll
why.
was the 7th, so she's,
Yeah, okay.
That's
Just
why.
wanna
I
make
got-
sure. Thank
That's
you.
fine, that's
Now,
fine.
don't forget the payroll for the road crew and the administrator is changing for the next payroll.
Yep, I remember you said that.
Because it'll go to, instead of paying Wednesday, it'll go to paying Friday.
And we let everyone know that, correct?
I let everybody know that.
Very good, thank you. I thought you did. Very good.
Okay.
so do we have to approve take a roll call for the transfer?
Absolutely. Roll call, please.
Mr. Evans?
Yes.
Mr. Burkholder?
Yes.
Ms. McKee?
Yes.
Motion passes. Any public comments? Limited 2 minutes per person. Please come forward, state your name and address.
Chuck Bundy, 10254 Tollgate Road, Southwest. I'm really disappointed in this board. The first 6 months of this year, I saw a semblance of cooperation, but now it has degenerated into fussing at each other. And you're wasting our time, your time, lots of time in not getting along, not trying to work together. Some of you, one of you needs to pick your battles. You can't have everything your way. And it just makes me tired. It makes me ashamed. We have a reporter from the Newark Advocate here writing down all this stuff, and people in other parts of the county said, "What's going on in Etna?" Well, you guys are an embarrassment. Sorry.
I concur with you, Mr. Bundy. We need to work more cooperatively and collaboratively. Thank you.
Mr. Trump,
John Kennard, 10785 Palmer Road. Still got a concern about our road projects.
Yes, sir.
This is the second time this has happened where we have a contractor tell us that they will service our road from point A to point B. And when I went to school, at point A and point B, I knew how to measure and I knew how to calculate how much it was going to take to cover this area. This is the second time the contractor said, "You know what, I misfigured. You owe me another $5,000. I used to be a builder, and if I contracted you to build a house, a 3-bedroom, 2,000 square foot house, and I say, hey, your house is only 1,500 square feet and 1 bedroom, it's gonna cost you another $50,000 to me to finish, because I couldn't figure right." I think when a contractor writes down a bid and says, "This is what we will pay," or "This is what we will do it for," that's what we'll pay. And you will do from point A to point B. If you don't know how to figure, sorry about that. You won't be in business long. You'll be doing the bankruptcy school. So that's just my comment. It just seems like somebody's always wanting more money from us when we
Well, I know, I'm sorry. At one time, Mr. Copley was doing it manually. Mr. Copley was doing it manually, measuring it, putting it in the system so we knew exactly what the mileage was, so I don't know.
No, and I'd like to correct your disbursement of the contractor. The issue with the quantities on the first time in 2022 was my error when I left out a road going through Orchard Glen. So that, when they did that road, and depending on if they could finish the other ones, that was the issue there. So again, we're relying on, if we want to have the contractor come out and measure prior, the price is going to be higher because they're doing it as they go to verify, or we can use the certified engineer's report. But again, we can deal with it. They charge, they don't overcharge, they don't undercharge, they charge per square yard. So again, we're going to plan on that for the future if we do these applications again. And we should, and we already should have had a inventory of our roads of what's there. We didn't.
Thank you, sir. Next.
Adam Kelly, 8990 Smoke Road. I just wanted to follow up on what you said. I agree with that word. The word you guys weren't getting along, or at least you appeared to be getting along earlier this year. Now there's a lot more accusations, a lot more finger pointing. I'd like to point out, you guys are a board. When one of you is failing, the board is failing, and when one of you succeeds, the board succeeds. So, if it's somebody, one of you is not getting the job done, it's up to everybody else to step up and just do it. And you can save your accusations and your finger pointing for when you run for re-election, I guess is my point. And you can save your self-promotion for the same time. When you're not in for re-election, just get it done. There's no point in pointing fingers and accusing each other of things and going back to the past. It looks bad because you guys are all the same. When you point one person on the board, it reflects on the entire board. And I just want to point that out because that's how the community looks at it. You're one board. So there you go.
Well, I want to say something to what you're speaking on, Adam. We are a board, like you said, and I've always been professional. I've had a long career, and I know for sure Mr. Burkholder has too. We are trying to get along with Mr. Evans, okay? We have to learn that when you work as a team, my whole career was working with teams. I ran teams. And we have to learn how to, if somebody can't do something, you don't just go after them and make them feel bad or look bad to make yourself look good. That's wrong. You know, what you do is, like you said, pick up from there. But that's not what's going on here. And I just wish we could get along and do better. And I thought we were, but it's still back to what happened to me for a year and a half is now happening to Mr. Burkholder. So I just want us to do better, and I hope that we can.
I don't disagree with you there, except that you just did it again, where you pointed to one person on the board.
No, I'm just telling you what's going on.
Because you don't have to defend yourself, we can see.
Yeah.
And so that's my point. I get it, you get when one of you's pointing fingers, you feel like you gotta defend yourself. You don't, you're not up for re-election yet. You can do it then. Everybody can see what you're doing. I get what you're saying, it's really tempting to point to defend yourself, but come on, let's just get it done and work together as a board.
Thank you.
And the only thing I'd like to clarify is you said if somebody else isn't doing it, step up and do it. You can't. I've tried, even with mosquito contract, it's prevented. So as you hear the frustrations from people, I hear that every other day from someone. Literally, our attorneys, our vendors, our residents.
We're very aware that, Mr. Evans. It's been in the Columbus Dispatch, it's been in the Newark Advocate. So
but it's true, these are people's lives.
Hey, if you think I don't care, you're wrong. I'm in here every day.
If you cared, you would respond.
Mr. Evans, I've responded to a lot of people. If I missed one, I'm more than
He
ready
sent you the
to
hole in his front
apologize.
yard, you didn't respond.
You know what Adam said?
I did.
Well, good. I'm glad somebody's picking up if one of us misses something.
But you
go ahead, sir.
Ryan Davis, 8807 Watkins Road. I don't normally get to attend the water board meetings because they're held at 4 o'clock on Thursdays. I try to attend as many meetings as I can here, and I do rely sometimes on the ones I miss on the recording that Mr. Evans provides. I actually, during the public comments of the water board meeting on last Thursday, I did ask the board, I asked them the same thing I've asked this board, it would be great if they videoed and recorded and archived the meetings so we could watch them at a further date, because I'm sure there are probably more people who would be very interested in what goes on there. The chairman of the board did ask the office staff if the meeting minutes were online, and she confirmed, and I just explained to him that it's great to watch it for myself. You get a lot out of seeing the interaction, seeing the discussion. But I did want to let the public know and let the board know that after the meeting, the director, Mr. Jim Roberts, stopped me, and he said that they are doing, he didn't quote any dates specifically, there's a lot of things yet to go, but they're working on some administrative office upgrades, including technology, and he said that that will be on the upgrade list for the water board. So I thought that was a fantastic, it's not going to happen soon enough maybe, but at least it's on their list. So I would like to see this board also move forward to do that as well to prevent any issues or delays with posting the meeting videos. Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else?
John Hanson, 51 Ridgewood. You know, the attacking the water board and Trent seems to be a favorite here. And I was just wondering if anyone from the water board was invited. There's always an attack on the water board and then the discussion about Trent this, Trent that, but he was not invited as far as I know. And are any of these people invited that you're attacking?
Mr. Stepp was invited and he refused.
When was he invited? I'm sorry, I missed that.
Ms. Hanson, the former administrator, communicated to him the board's desire to receive reports and come in person to discuss
last year.
matters.
Yeah, I'm talking about this current thing right now. This, you always want to go back.
How many times do you want him to refuse?
If you're saying you didn't ask anybody from the water board, you want to attack the water board, without having anybody here. I'm sure there's more people than just Trent.
You think our appointee should be here?
What appointee?
Trent would be
Trent
that.
Stepp.
And then,
I don't know. I mean,
I do.
I'll let you finish and then I'll have some comments. Go ahead, sir.
Well, that's all I want to say. There's just ad hominem attacks without having anybody here to represent the other side.
well, just in Mr. Stepp's defense, he doesn't want to stand here and argue back and forth.
Right.
He just, he wants to come and give the report, I'm sure, and he would do it, but he doesn't want the argument, the disrespect, the
I'll try and post up the 16 pages and the responses from the attorneys and everything from Trustee Evans' attack trying to get Trent thrown off the board. So, I think that the attorney said something to the effect that, Mr. Evans, you're a nullity. It doesn't matter what you say. You're an Etna Township trustee. You're not on the water board. That's what you don't get. You run to other boards.
He is our appointee.
I'll do some
It
clarification.
doesn't mean you're running.
I'll do some clarification. I served on that board for 3 years. You are appointed by the township trustees. The entities are Pataskla, which obviously a city council appoints, Harrison Township, and then Etna Township. It was always the policy and customary. I believe I reported to the township trustees with updates on a monthly basis. I think that is the proper procedure. I understand what Trustee McKee is saying. It's no fun to go into any forum and go back and forth and argue, but I will say this, I think it would be proper. I know there's been a suggestion that the director of the Water and Sewer Board come, but I think, at least my perspective is that the Pataskla rep should report to their council, Etna's rep should report to Etna, and Harrison's Township rep should support them. But saying that you absolutely refuse, and some of this has to do when we try to get some clarification on how the district was going to actually pay for the Wagram sewer plant, and we never did get a straight answer from any of the representatives that represented the district. That's just my perspective.
So in 2.5 years here in this board, how many things that were normal, customary, and good manners have been reduced to legalistic, I don't have to do that because of Trustee Evans?
I don't know, sir, but your time has expired.
More than one.
But thank you.
Thank you.
Anyone else?
Since we're talking about the water board, and yes, he is appointed, Mr. Stepp, but what can we do as a board to prevent him feeling uncomfortable walking in here to do his report, to be attacked? I mean, what can we do?
Well, first of all, I think it should be done professionally and with decorum, but when you serve on a board, much like we do here, it is your duty to take the tough questions and the comments, but they should be done professionally and with decorum, in my opinion.
And those were done with Mr. Stepp. I attended many meetings. I have a video of it where he outright refused to provide the estimated payment on the loan for the new, which was $25 million, which went up to $86 million plus. Absolutely refused to provide any information. So I think, again, we need to have that addressed.
Anyone else at this time? Okay, we've got several executive sessions at this time. There may be action afterwards. It just depends on the pleasure of the board. I'll move.
Gary.
Yes.
Were you supposed to say something about this?
That's executive session.
Yeah.
Thank you. I'll move to go into executive session, Ohio Revised Code 121.22 G1, to consider the employment of a public official.
Are we doing all of them?
Now, just let me finish.
Okay. I'm just trying
Let me finish. Let me finish. The compensation of a public employee and possibility disciplinary action against a public employee. So it's the appointment of a public employee, compensation of a public employee, and the consideration of disciplinary action against a public employee. Once we're finished on that, we'll come out and go into the second one, Ohio Revised Code 121.22G3, conference with an attorney for the public body concerning disputes involving the public body that are subject to pending or imminent litigation. But we'll come out of this first one and close that and then go into the second one, but there may be action. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Yes.
Roll call, please.
Mr. Evans?
Yes.
Mr. Burkholder?
Yes.
Ms. McKee?
Yes.
Okay, we're in executive session and the time is, what's the time there? 8:15, thank you.
And just to let everybody know, Mr. Burkholder's got a resolution for planned hiring, so it could be significant action.
Yes, thank you.
Well, it was included in the agenda packet, so I just want to make sure everybody knew.
Is there a motion to come out of the executive session? 10:30. Is there a second?
No second.
Roll call, please.
Mr. Evans?
Here.
Mr. Burkholder?
Yes,
Ms. McKee?
Yes.
we're out of the executive session. Is there a motion to adopt Resolution 2024-38, resolution employing Etna Township's full-time zoning inspector and code enforcement officer? I'll make that motion. Is there a second?
I'll second discussion.
I will, there's definitely a need for a full-time zoning inspector and code enforcement officer here in Etna Township. And I will read the resolution. Whereas the Etna Township Board of Trustees has a need for a full-time zoning inspector and code enforcement officer to review zoning application, issue zoning certificates and occupancy permits, to enforce the zoning resolution, and to advise the township trustees and the township's boards and commissions on zoning and code enforcement, and represent the township and its officers, boards, and commissions in their official capacities. Whereas no such employee may be employed except on the order of the board duly entered upon its journal, in which the compensation to be paid for the position shall be fixed. And whereas the board finds it necessary to employ an Etna Township full-time zoning inspector and code enforcement officer to provide the zoning and code enforcement services needed for the township, now therefore be it resolved by the Board of Trustees of Etna Township, Licking County, Ohio, that the following resolution be and it hereby is adopted. Ted Walker is hereby employed as Etna Township's full-time zoning inspector and code enforcement officer, conditioned upon a successful background check and drug test. The compensation shall be $30 per hour. However, we are going to amend that. We'll have to amend it because it's part of it, so thank you. Plus the federal mileage reimbursement rate for use of his personal vehicle for official township business. It is found and deemed that all formal actions of this board concerning and relating to the passage of the resolution were taken in an open meeting of this board, and that all deliberations of this board and of any of its committees that resulted in such formal actions were in meetings open to the public in compliance with all legal requirements, including without limitation, section 121.22 of the Ohio Revised Code. The resolution shall take effect at the earliest time provided by law. I will move to amend the
current
rate
Is that the current?
per hour to $28 per hour. Is there a second on the amendment? Is there a second on the amendment?
I'll second.
Second, discussion on the amendment.
What's the amended part?
The amendments to that 30 will be $28 per.
Insurance?
And per, no, there'll be no insurance, but it will be part of the OPR's retirement system, and holidays will apply as well. It's a full-time position. Anything over 30 hours is
I
considered.
understand that, but he doesn't get the insurance that we have.
He's not taking that, that's
Okay.
correct. That's correct. Roll call on the amendment, please.
Hang on.
Okay.
Mr. Evans?
No.
Mr. Burkholder?
Yes.
Ms. McKee?
Yes.
And now we'll have the discussion on the main motion to adopt this resolution as amended.
Yeah, I'd like to just to say, there's nothing personal against Mr. Walker, and I've already expressed it to him. I don't think it's proper where we're looking to hire an administrator that will be over this office and directly supervise the new employee to not give them any input on this. The individual has zero zoning experience, although he has other work experience. I believe that once the administrator comes in, that applicants would be more open to apply that do have the experience needed. So again, I'm not for this at this time until we get the administrator in and to have some input. We've waited over 7 months. We're on our 8th month. And now there's just seems to be a rush to do this. I don't think it's appropriate.
Hey, go ahead, Ms. McKee.
Ted has a lot of experience. He's worked with NiSource doing inspection, construction. He's also the president of his homeowner association. And he's worked closely with the developers. He lives here in the township. He's eager to learn more about zoning. He could start within the next 30 days, and we are so short-staffed in the zoning. Freddie's part-time, so Ted would be full-time, so we need to get somebody in that office to get things going. Like I said, I've had several residents call into the town hall in the last week, and there's nobody here to take the calls. So we need to get moving forward with the township business, and that would be hiring a full-time zoning person.
And he's indicated he could start this coming Monday. Roll call, please.
Mr. Evans?
No.
Mr. Burkholder?
Yes.
Ms. McKee?
Yes.
Motion passes. Is there anything else at this time to?
Yes, I'd like to make a motion to direct Mr. Burkholder to include Mr. Latella on the schedule for Mondays and Fridays moving forward.
Is there a second?
Yeah, I'll second for discussion.
Discussion?
Freddie's been with the township for over a year. Prior to him being here for over a year, he worked in the township years ago with a different board. He could transition with the new person coming in from Ted. So Freddie's agreed to work in the town hall on Mondays and Fridays. And I think that because of his experience, and he would continue to be with the township until further discussions with the board in the near future.
This is a temporary position, not a permanent part-time position, and open to review at a later date by the Board of Trustees. Any further discussion? Roll call, please.
Mr. Evans?
Yes.
Mr. Burkholder?
Yes.
Ms. McKee?
Yes.
Motion passes. Anything else to bring before the board?
Just comments.
Comments? Ms. McKee?
I don't have any comments tonight.
Mr. Evans?
Yes, I just want to make it official so everybody knows that there will not be any Labor Day fireworks this year. Hopefully we can bring them back next year. I did try on an alternate location. That was not successful. And I wanted to respond to public comments earlier about taking payoffs and such like that. The problem with the corruption was the previous boards, where there were contracts given for the trash and then getting a $500 campaign contribution, hiring live-in girlfriends and that. I'm not part of that. I've actually fought against that. To even say that, I know the people saying that know they're disingenuous. This has been a constant fight, and as we've heard from residents that are finally speaking out about the lack of communication, lack of response, that's what I've dealt with almost every other day. So there are huge issues, and unfortunately, we've got to power through them until hopefully we get an administrator that can properly deal with these things.
Is there a motion to adjourn?
I'll make a motion to adjourn.
I'll second that. Roll call, please.
Mr. Evans?
Yes.
Mr. Burkholder?
Yes.
Ms. McKee?
Yes. Thank you.
Thank you.